Hello, hi, I'm Ty Star and I grew up at the Rainbow Gatherings, and so it's a big part of my life, and so I like to let people know that it's a great festival. It's not exactly a festival because it's just a free gathering. It's the Rainbow Gathering. People show up from all walks of life, and it happens every year on the 4th of July, but it happens for like a whole week, so like the whole first week of July. It's been going on for 50 years now. The first one was in 1972, and now it's 2022, so 50 years later. This is the 50th Rainbow Gathering, and it's the prayer for world peace that thousands and thousands of people go to every year. They go together every year to get together and for world peace. It's the biggest gathering that has the least publicity. It's always in a national forest. This year it's going to be in Colorado again because it was in Colorado on the first gathering in 1972, and now 50 years later it's returning to Colorado. It's been to Colorado a few times. They try to bounce around to a few different states every year. Most people don't know what the Rainbow Gathering is because it doesn't really get any publicity, and even when you go, it seems like about half of the people there are there for the first time. So I know there's people searching for it and have never found it yet. And it's funny how like elders grow and they get tired of it and they're like, oh, it's changed, the scene has changed, but there's still new people finding it, being like, wow, what an enlightened crowd, this is so amazing. So if you do get there, make sure you get past the parking lot. That's a big part of it. Some people get to the parking lot and they're like, this isn't a good scene, but it really happens in the nature, a hike away from where you park, and where you park is going to be hard to find. I don't know exactly where in Colorado it's going to be, but if you just go to the Four Corners area of Colorado and some of those towns, I'm sure you'll find somebody that looks like they're going there, and that's how it all happened. I mean, it used to just happen through word of mouth and through posters that people would make, so finding it isn't that hard. It's pretty hard, you just have to do it. But they did it before the internet, so now that we have internet to communicate about this, all you have to do is after the second week of June, all the information's out and everyone knows exactly where to go. Because there's people that get there early and they set up camp, they make trails, they find out where everyone's going to be, they make sure there's water sources. There's lots of setup that happens from all volunteers and lots of donated food, because everything is free at the Rainbow Gathering. You just show up and there's everything you need. I mean, you need to bring your own self-sufficient stuff, like you need your own blissware. Blissware is a cup and spoon and a bowl and like maybe a pot or something, but like the cooking. Because when you go to a kitchen, they have free food, but they don't have free utensils and bowls and stuff. You need to bring your own bowl. If you go to the gathering with just a bowl and a spoon, you're probably gonna be just fine. But it's good to have a bedroll and a tent and all the other necessities that you think you're gonna have. And if you have any special needs of dietary stuff, you might wanna take your own food. But there is plenty of vegan kitchens. Instant Soup is the kitchen that I worked with a lot. They were always vegan soups. Not that I'm vegan, just that it's nice to have vegan soup so that when people want soup, they don't have to wonder what's in it. It's a good idea to bring a tent so you don't have to sleep in your car, because unless you really like hiking, I mean, it's miles away from where you would park your car in the woods to where you would find the good, nice, happening scene, where there's it's usually a good hike away from the car, and it's nice to have a camp somewhere where you don't have to go back to your car for a week. You don't need to see your phone or a car or technology, none of that. It needs to be there for like a whole week if you don't want. People do like a whole month. So, and if you're worried about leaving a car or if you have that, if you're not getting there like through somebody else, if you're taking your own car and you're worried about it leaving there. Let me tell you one story about how when I left my keys in the door of my car, and then I walked away from it, and like the next day I got back to it, like, where are my keys? And I was like, oh shit, I left them in the car. There was a note on the car that said, the keys are now at lost and found, and my car was locked. They locked the car for me and took the keys to lost and found. I was then able to find my keys at lost and found, but it took another day because how things are. But it was fine. I got my keys back. They were labeled with like a different color of a different car, because by the time the person got to lost and found with my keys and returned it to them, they probably forgot what color and kind of car I had. But my keys were still there, and that's the point, is people are taking care of each other. It didn't turn into a bad thing that I left my keys in the car, and all, like, it could have just disappeared. You know, I've had that happen before too, but that was in a city, not at the gathering. Okay. Yes, okay. And there's all sorts of kitchens making all sorts of food at the gathering. There's a kitchen called Lovin ovens, where they go there, they build ovens out of mud and rocks and whatever natural materials are there. They also bring barrels so that they could make it all, and they make pizza and cookies and all sorts of food you wouldn't expect to just be showing up in the woods. And you're just walking through the woods, and there's people with trays of pizza, like, here, have some pizza, and it's all free. Everything's free. I've already said that a bunch of times. And yes, because everybody is encouraged to help. Yes, it all works through volunteering, so everything's free because everybody just volunteers, and you're encouraged to participate in gathering firewood or whatever chores need to be done at the camp. There's lots of camps. If you just show up with a handful of sticks whenever you're walking around to any camp, it'll be appreciated. The main event happens on 4th of July, where there is a silence until noon. Everybody is silent from sunrise. There's usually drumming and loudness throughout the whole gathering. But at sunrise on the 4th, it gets silent and everybody is quiet, and there's a prayer for world peace. Around noon, there is a circle of thousands of people, and we ohm for world peace. And then a parade of kids comes to the main meadow where everyone is circled around the peace pole, and the kids break the silence, and it turns into a big fun party with lots of music and hippies. And everything gets taken care of at the gathering as far as the nature, like after the thousands and thousands of people trample the woods and make mud trails scattered throughout the forest, it all gets cleaned up to sometimes cleaner than it was before, because there's so far in between that we've cleared out a lot of fire damage. Not a lot of fire damage, a lot of fire danger. The fire danger is cleared out because of all the fires that have been responsibly burnt by kitchens, not just people randomly having their fires. If kitchens and good camps have fires that with their bucket of water and necessities that you need to have a campfire, then there's a lot of dead brush that's burnt out from the forest. That helps out the forest. After we all leave, there's people that have natural seeds from that area that they've gathered from before the gathering, that they reseed the area with to make sure it becomes very nice and natural again. There's people that really take care of the place. On the other hand, there is a lot of people that go there to take advantage of all the nice people giving out free food, and there is a lot of what are called drainbows, and they tend to show up a lot more in the towns and surrounding areas of the Rainbow Gathering, and bring down the reputation of the Rainbow Gathering and make people from the outside that have never been to the Rainbow Gathering think that it's full of just drunks and people that aren't really into nature, that aren't trying to there to help, and they just kind of bring down the whole surrounding area, and they really fill up the towns, and are actually, it's pretty hard on the town sometimes. So there is that downside to it, but that's just the downside to accepting everybody. When you try to accept everybody, lots of people that are unaccepted show up. So it's part of the philosophy. We try to accept them as much as we can, and a lot of people find really good outlets and communities of people that way that they wouldn't have otherwise. So it's a wonderful thing, and it's going to continue because there's so many new people finding it. Like I said, just because there's elders that are getting tired of it, and it might have to be somewhere in low elevation Colorado, which I don't even know what that means, because there's so many elders that can't go up to the high elevation anymore because they're just so, like, it's hard for them. There's a whole handicap village now where like handicamp, what they call it, and for all the old timers that can't really hike in as far as they used to. So, but there's still lots of new young people showing up, doing hard work, making it really happen for the whole scene. And as long as there's new people interested in a community of people that just want to take care of each other, which I'm pretty sure there's lots of people interested in that, it's going to keep thriving and keep continuing. So thanks for being part of the Rainbow family. Peace. If you have a belly button, you're part of the Rainbow family. So peace. We love you, and maybe see you there. I don't know.